What if the scariest bedtime stories weren't fiction at all? What if the legends you laughed off as myths were waiting in history books with receipts? Today we're unpacking 7 terrifying legends that actually turned out to be true. They sound like folklore, too spooky, too weird, too unreal, but when you check the evidence, they're right there in plain sight. We'll keep it chill, keep it witty, and maybe leave you wondering if the next urban myth is just tomorrow's history lesson. So grab a blanket, keep the lights on, and let's count down. Number 7. The Cannibal Clan of Scotland. You've heard stories about monsters in caves, but what if those monsters were people? Legend says Sawney Bean led a family clan in 16th century Scotland that hunted travelers, dragged them into their coastal cave, and ate them. It sounds like medieval propaganda, until accounts from multiple sources described missing travelers and bones found near the coast. Whether Bean's clan was 40 members strong, or just a tale exaggerated by locals, the story mirrors real cases of isolated groups resorting to cannibalism. Think Donner Party, but with more intentional seasoning. The point? Sometimes cannibal in a cave is less metaphor and more menu. Ready for another monster that got real? Number 6. The Wendigo Disease. The Wendigo legend is chilling. A spirit that possesses people, making them insatiably hungry for human flesh. Cree folklore painted it as a monster of greed and starvation. But here's the twist. European settlers documented Wendigo psychosis, a rare disorder where individuals believed they were turning into cannibals. Some cases ended with communities executing the afflicted out of fear. It wasn't supernatural claws. It was a tragic mix of psychology, famine, and cultural belief. The terrifying part? A legend became a diagnosis. And nothing is scarier than when your nightmares get medical paperwork. Speaking of creatures that cross the folklore reality line, let's talk vampires. Number 5. Vampires of New England. Forget Dracula. New England had its own vampire panic in the 1800s. Families plagued by tuberculosis blamed the wasting disease on dead relatives rising from the grave. Towns dug up bodies, staked hearts, and even burned remains to protect the living. In one famous case, Mercy Brown's exhumed body in Rhode Island became proof of vampirism, except science later confirmed TB spreads in close quarters. Still, the rituals left archaeologists finding skeletons with broken chests and burned bones. The legend of the vampire was terrifying, until you realized the scarier truth was an epidemic no one understood. And if you think that's eerie, wait until we reach the rivers of Troy. Number 4. Troy wasn't just a myth. For centuries, the city of Troy and the Trojan War were considered pure mythology, a Homeric epic with wooden horses and heroic speeches. But in the 19th century, Heinrich Schliemann dug into Turkey's Hisarlik site and found ruins of a massive city with layers of fire and battle scars. Suddenly the myth had walls, gates, and ashes. Did a giant horse roll in? Probably not. But a legendary war? Absolutely possible. The terrifying lesson. Stories we treat as fiction sometimes hide kernels of brutal reality. Heroes may be exaggerated, but ruins don't lie. And speaking of ruins, let's head to the desert for a city swallowed whole. Number 3. The Lost City of Ubar. Arabian legend told of Iram, the Atlantis of the sands, destroyed by divine punishment for arrogance. For centuries, it was dismissed as poetic allegory. Then satellite images in the 1990s revealed caravan routes converging in Oman, where archaeologists uncovered ruins of a massive settlement with collapsed limestone caves. Turns out, the city likely fell when underground caverns gave way, swallowing its towers. Local myth remembered it as God's wrath. Science revealed geology's betrayal. The overlap is chilling. Whether punished by the heavens or crushed by the earth, the city's fate was real. And speaking of the earth betraying us, let's go underwater. Number 2. The Kraken of the Deep. Sailors' tales of the Kraken described a monster so huge it could pull ships under with its tentacles. Sounded like drunk seafaring exaggeration, until giant squids over 40 feet long were confirmed in deep oceans. Scars on sperm whales and rare footage of these creatures proved that what sailors feared wasn't pure fantasy. Sure, they don't deliberately hunt ships, but imagine rowing in 1700 and seeing tentacles longer than your boat. The Kraken legend turned out to be nature's nightmare fuel, hiding in plain sight. And if you think the ocean hides monsters, just wait until you hear about the Dancing Plague. Number 1. The Dancing Plague of 1518. Picture this. Hundreds of people in Strasbourg, France, suddenly dancing uncontrollably in the streets for days. Some collapsed, some died. The legend sounds absurd, like a bad TikTok challenge gone medieval. But it happened. Records confirm a dancing mania swept the city, with participants unable to stop until exhaustion. Explanations range from ergot poisoning, a hallucinogenic fungus in bread, to mass psychogenic illness fueled by stress and superstition. Either way, the legend of a cursed dance floor wasn't fiction. It was history's weirdest rave, and maybe proof that humans are scarier than any monster. So, here's the recap. A Scottish cannibal clan, a spirit-turned syndrome, real-world vampires, the ruins of Troy, a city swallowed by the sands, squids that fed the Kraken myth, and a dance that killed. The big picture? Legends don't just entertain us. They sometimes preserve memories of real horrors in disguise. What if today's creepypasta is tomorrow's archaeology? What stories will people in 300 years say, turned out to be true? What do you think? Drop your weirdest one below.